You can hear me for miles and 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 miles. From 9 Mile Studios in beautiful Afton, Missouri. Welcome to the Right Lane. Today we welcome from Project Deliverance and personal trainer to the stars.
My bad.
Matt
I ain't
Owen.
sorry for the wait, my nigga. Wheezy style. Say goodbye to the old guy. Back cause I'm too fly to ever fall off. King of my city, still running with the gritty. Looking for the crown, tell them bitches come get it.
Hey, by the way, we got some fan mail.
Nice.
Silent Dave, you're not aware of this. I did bring this to Danny's attention already. We got some fan mail from Michael Robinson of Baldwin, Missouri. He said, "Hey guys, love the show. Thought your toilet paper debate was interesting, so I looked it up. Business Insider did a story on this. The patent was established in 1891, September 15th by Seth Wheeler, and it specifically says to roll forward. Lane, your girlfriend is playing a cruel joke on you. Hope this helps. Thanks."
If you're still doing anything that was established in 18 whatever the fuck it was, and it's unchanged, it's probably inaccurate and wrong.
Matt Owen is in the house, ladies and gentlemen.
Well,
Thanks for being here, Matt.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me on. Really appreciate it.
You sure don't look like you came to the gym, but I know you did.
Yeah. I came straight from the gym today.
I'm just like a sweaty pig when I leave the gym. How come?
Well,
you seem to have figured it
I wasn't training. I was training other people today. So
out. Okay.
yeah, I'm gonna get that workout in later though.
Thanks for being here,
Sure, man. Happy to be here.
Danny Wright,
How's it
Very
going,
nice
man?
to meet you, sir.
Yep.
Thank you for coming out.
Silent Dave,
All right.
Standby Steve.
What's
Super
up, man?
fan, Steve.
So just in case anybody didn't know, Matt Owen is the owner of Project Deliverance, personal training gym in St. Louis City. It's a fabulous gym. You've had some pretty interesting people come through there. Some
Oh yeah.
notable people
Yep.
come through there.
Absolutely.
Sean Woodson's one of my favorites.
Yep. Yeah. He had a big weekend, and really saw all of his hard work pay off. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's really good to have him on and have him. He's been training with me for, I'd say, 3 years, about 3.5 years, and really see the culmination of all his work come and get that guy out of there in that first round. So
And Saturday was directly related to you.
well, yeah, I mean, I play a part in that, but he trains at Wolves Den Training Center, and he's been boxing since he was 8 years old. So
We don't have to talk about all them people. We just
Right.
talk about how great you are.
What the strength and conditioning definitely plays a pretty heavy component, but it's not the sole.
I do think though that he looked he did look a little bigger and more toned.
Yeah,
in this fight than in previous fights.
Yeah. We spent a lot of time this past camp really getting him strong, building a little bit more lean muscle. I believe it made his weight cut a little bit tougher than it's been in the past, but I think it paid off when it came to him throwing those body shots.
Yeah, he got it out there. He got him out there pretty quick.
Yep.
So that his opponent, Colin
Anglin.
Yep. Do you kind of wish he would have attempted more takedowns? Get all that hard work from the ATP.
Yeah, I mean,
Showing on
Sean's
the
been
big stage.
Sean's been working on getting on his back, and he's been working on all kinds of crazy different submissions from that position. And it would have been cool to see him kind of show some of that work that he's been putting in. But maybe next fight we'll see.
Maybe he just didn't think he would have been able to get past the reach to try it. I mean, because
Yeah.
obviously he wasn't doing anything on the feet against
Right.
him. But
Yeah.
He tried for a couple of takedowns and
Yeah. He pressed him on the fence one time, like pinned him up against the fence, and Sean said right when I locked up with him, I knew he wasn't taking me down. He wasn't strong enough. So he said I knew right away.
So Sean Woodson's already back in the gym.
Yeah, he was there yesterday. Took today off. He's like, "Hey man, I want to get some more sleep." And I was like, "Yeah, dude, totally deserved. Take the day. Do your thing." So,
Yeah, so February probably his next fight.
Yeah, he called out Melsik Bagdasaryan today. I don't know if you've been on his social media yet today.
I checked him out after
and
you said his name,
yeah, he wants him for March, so gives us plenty of time to get ready. So that guy is a savage striker. So that would be one heck of a matchup for sure.
So Michael Johnson is another name
Yep.
that we all like here that's come through there. Last time you saw him, that was kind of recently too.
Yeah, I would say back in late July, early August. He's back down in, I believe, Miami, training at Sanford right now, getting ready to get back into it. But when he's at home, he comes in and we get some of his, we handle his strength when he's at home. So.
Is your training with Sean Woodson, because you've been working with him for so long, so specific to Sean Woodson it doesn't look like the same training for Michael Johnson?
Yeah, basically when I program for Sean, it's going to be directed around, like, Sean has a very specific set of needs that he needs for the gym, and Michael, he's got another set of needs, mainly because Michael's got a lot more miles on him, and he's had a long career, so we do a little bit more, I would say, recovery type work just to keep him from, just to keep him moving really good. Sean, he's got to get stronger. He's got to continue to get stronger. So we end up doing a lot more strength work and power work and speed for him, like that raw development that we're trying to do, so he can compete with these guys that are top 10.
Did Sean have anything interesting to say about the buffets out there?
I don't think he went
Vegas?
to any. I think he he just got
he didn't treat himself to the buffet.
He just went and got pizza.
He's a really strict, healthy lifestyle kind of guy, right?
Yeah, he's if any of you guys follow him, he's super regimented. He wakes up in the morning, he has the same thing, eggs in he's got this oatmeal that he makes. Okay. And he's like, this is my oatmeal. He talks about his oatmeal. He likes it a certain
Woodson
way.
Brand oatmeal.
Yeah, I'm telling you, if there's some company out there that wants to make like that kind of oatmeal, he's like, this is my oatmeal, and this is the only type of oatmeal that I like.
Steel cup, maybe.
Yep, right. So I mean, he puts chocolate in there, nuts, craisins. He mixes it all together, and then he has a couple of eggs with that, with like some turmeric on that. So.
So you're wearing the Jim Jones shirt.
Yep.
Matt Owen is the director of production at Jim Jones.
Director of programming. So I handle all the most of the writing of programs and stuff like that. I oversee a lot of our online training as well. So
tell me about Jim Jones.
So Jim Jones, based out in Salt Lake City, they've been around. I would say since the mid 2000s. They were originally a CrossFit affiliate. By the time that I started coming around 2007, 2008, they had gotten away from CrossFit. They had trained the actors for the movie 300. Right before that, they were getting into some more movie training type stuff. Done a lot of work with military personnel, tier 1 assets, and stuff like that. So by the time that I came around, we were getting to the point where they were starting to certify more trainers. I was the first certified trainer outside of that gym. I was mainly a college student that came in and just wanted to learn from them.
I was getting ready to ask you because you said 2007, 2008, but you don't look old at all.
I was about 18 years old when I started working with them, and I'll be 35 next year. So I've been around them for a while. So mainly they're known for their work with military groups. What we've done in the past with movie production and stuff, and just that like higher level strength and conditioning stuff. So
did you work with the crew of 300?
I did not. I was a senior in high school. So
okay, right.
I
remember that feeling like a while back.
That was before my time.
But you have worked with other.
The people that I've seen, I had been in the gym space when some of these people have come through over the years. So that have, Henry Cavill, who played Superman, came through at one point when I was out there training. We've kind of gotten away from the movie training as a whole over the past few years. That's a whole another long story that has some drama woven in and
like
stuff
contractual kind of weird stuff.
Yeah, but it involves a lot of relationship stuff that I don't really want to get into.
Huh?
Yeah, well, just like the change of ownership in the gym, and
okay, those kinds of relationships.
There's some legal stuff that that was involved with that, and if we end up going that route again in the future, I mean, I'd be all for it. But I'm perfectly happy doing what I'm doing and teaching seminars for them. And
are you the only
here.
Jim Jones representative in this area?
In this area, we got one that's in Bloomington, Illinois. Curtis Frazier runs a gym called Element 26 out there. So he's a heck of a trainer as well, former Army Ranger, and he's a heck of a good guy. So
just to kind of like paint a picture for people. So Jim Jones is like just top notch fitness. They do seminars, all that stuff.
Yep.
How does it stack up against Planet Fitness?
Oh man, it's not even. You can't. There is no comparison. It's
so there's no free pizza on Friday.
No. It's a whole different.
You don't have a bowl of Tootsie Rolls right at the front.
I mean, honestly, the gym looks a lot like mine does. Mine is modeled after their place. So if you were to go out to Salt Lake City and walk in their door, you'd be like, oh, this feels like Matt's gym.
I love high ceilings in a gym.
Yeah, it feels a lot like out at Project Deliverance. It feels very, very similar. So. Yeah.
You went to school for this, or is this?
Yeah. I went to Lindenwood. I ran track. I played football there. Studied exercise science in undergrad, and then studied kinesiology for my master's degree.
Why is it called Project Deliverance?
So that's kind of that's rooted in Jim Jones history as well. So when we first discovered Jim Jones, it was myself and some other friends. We were looking to train to stay in shape for college sports over the summer, and then 300 had come out. We actually found Jim Jones because of the movie, and we're like, we were looking into how the actors got to look the way that they did. So we stumbled across the Jim Jones website, and it was really very closed back then. You had to apply to train there, and it had all these cryptic warnings on the website, like if you steal our material, we're gonna settle this out of court and in the street.
Holy sh!
Yeah, it was like you had to send them an email, and they're like, if you send us a stupid email, we're not even going to read it. We're just going to delete it. So there was one doorway to get in there to apply, and the page was called Deliverance. So we took that, and then we took Project Mayhem from Fight Club, because Jim Jones is rooted in Fight Club. So we took the Project Mayhem and then that deal and put it together. So really, when we first started the gym, we were trying to get ready for college sports, but one of our goals was to go train there. So, and it was super closed off and super.
Most Mormon related places are, right?
Yeah, but I mean, even
it's not Mormon.
No,
right?
yeah, no.
Salt Lake City. Sorry.
Yeah, but just that population out there. But that's kind of the history behind the name, and we toyed with the idea of changing it over the years, but we're like, nah, let's keep it. It's kind of cool. Let's keep it.
So you have a degree from Lindenwood University.
Yep.
Which is what?
So kinesiology, which is basically movement science.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
I didn't know that was a word.
Yeah.
Kinesiology.
Kinesiology. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And that's and is there like a separate like personal training degree or something
like
that?
The exercise science, which is they say that it's kinesiology. Kinesiology that's like kind of what I view as a higher level. The exercise science degree encompasses like kinesiology is a class. So, and then you've got exercise testing and prescription, nutrition. It's very bio heavy. So your prereqs are biology, chemistry, physics, anatomy, and phys. So it was a really heavy science kind of degree.
Did you? So you're obviously very educated in that subject.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Did you learn anything different when you got to Jim Jones?
Yeah. So what I've told people this before, and I tell students this all the time. I got a really good knowledge base in terms of how to train people and how the body works from like a system standpoint, like down in the weeds. Like it comes down to the science of how muscles move and chemical mediators and how nerves work and how your like cardiorespiratory system works. When I went to Jim Jones, they really gave me the hands-on. Okay, take this and now you need to apply it. So how does this apply to someone who's trying to lose weight? So, and then they really taught me the practical knowledge, and I kind of took that and have made it my own. And then I've studied stuff that Westside Barbell has done. There's some MMA strength coaches that are rooted really heavily in that I really kind of look up to and follow. And I'm always kind of looking at what they're doing. Okay, maybe I can take a little bit from this guy, a little bit from this guy, and then incorporate it into my own system. So
a little bit more than my 4-hour online class from Saturday.
I would hope so.
That's some intense.
I would hope so.
That's some intense learning and studying on the body.
I recognized it right away that your gym is not at all anything like anything I've ever seen.
Right.
And I used to think that I knew what I was talking about.
How did you get hooked? How did you find out about?
Through a friend, just word of mouth.
Yep. And that's how we pull almost everybody in. I don't advertise. I don't want people that. I don't want people just coming in. Hey, I just want to lose a bunch of weight. I want people to refer people. Hey, you need to go see Matt. So kind of thing, and that's how we've grown.
The kinds of workouts that you will write up for me, for instance, but they're all very complicated and complex.
Yep.
So are they real specific? Like I guess everybody comes in and tells you what their goals are,
right?
And you kind of work with that,
right?
Okay.
Yeah, and if your goal is to lose weight, the workouts are going to look a certain way. If you're trying to compete in a powerlifting meet, like I got some young kids that want to do that, that's going to look a certain way. So it's going to be totally different. But we're going to use some of the same core principles and some of the same components of training between those two. So, even a weight loss client they're gonna lift and they're gonna do deadlifts and they're gonna squat, but it's gonna be a different intensity, a different volume, a different variation for them than a guy trying to stick real close to those lifts.
I don't want to go off too much into any particular one thing, but like obviously you said deadlift. The kind of the media or the noise that I've heard recently is that a lot of people they're going away from deadlifting. The risk reward.
Right. And really that in my opinion, that comes from people not knowing how to teach it.
Right.
Like I know how to teach it, and really back in the 100 years ago, they used to call it the health lift. So you would do that to improve your vitality.
Right.
And I still maintain that 100 years ago here in St. Louis, people were doing stuff harder than we're doing it now. Like we've kind of gone soft. If you look at like the way the guys trained back around the time that the 1904 World Games were here, when they had weightlifting and stuff and all these odd lifts that you don't see anymore, those guys they weren't lifting a ton of weight, but they were working really hard. And our nutrition and knowledge is on a whole new level. But I feel like people's work ethic back then was tougher. And we're like, we got to get away from this. And it's largely because people don't understand it and they don't know how to do it properly. And then they blow their back out.
Right.
It's like, now I've done my back. I'm not going to touch that anymore. So,
I had an experience like that a little bit.
But for people like Sean in this last camp, we did a ton of deadlift. Like we deadlifted, twice a week, with various variations and with different kind of resistance and different speeds. But that played a huge role in him, and that dude being like getting a hold of him and being like, no, this ain't gonna work. I can't take him down. He's too strong.
So like your average like guy who goes to the Club Fitness or Planet Fitness. Everybody wants to work out to muscle failure all the time.
Yeah.
And I noticed that in your gym, I'm not always working towards muscle failure.
Now, if you came in and were like, I want to get huge, we're going to train to failure.
Okay.
We're going to go.
Okay. So that was goal specific.
Yeah.
Because I told you I didn't want to get huge.
Yep.
Okay. Cool.
So yeah, if you came in and was like, I want to gain 20 pounds of muscle, I'm like, great. We're going to do bench to failure at 135. And then we're going to do pull-ups to failure. And then we're going to rest to full recovery, and we're going to do it 5 times.
Oh, okay.
And we're going to start with that, All
right.
And you will get, if you do that, you will get a pump like you've never, like your whole upper body will be blown up.
Okay, great.
So, yeah, that's one way to do it.
So, yeah, I think asked you, I think I told you that I wanted to work on, like just explosive ability and not, that kind of stuff. So.
Right.
Oh, nice. Have you been kicked off the Lutheran South football team yet?
No, I have not been kicked off yet. But we had kind of just one of those years, man. We just I think we were 3-8 or something like that. We went out in the first round of the playoffs. We just we gotta find a way to get better. We gotta lift more in the off season.
That already happened.
Yeah, we're done.
Okay.
We got knocked out week 1, but
you look very sad.
Yeah, it just
you guys looked good at the beginning of the year.
You just put a lot of work in, and things. It's just basically where we're at right now. We need to be establishing feeder teams that feed into the school.
Well,
so,
aren't you guys the feeder team for Lutheran North? So,
oh man, that's a whole different. yeah, that's a whole different thing.
well, as long as you guys beat Afton, right? You guys are happy.
Well, I can speak for our head coach as well. We don't just want to, beat a couple teams that we should beat or rivalry schools. We want to be competitive in our conference, and that's really the issue right now. Is we got to get competitive within our conference. So, and just work and putting in more time in the off season and getting more kids involved in the sport at the school.
It's tough these days.
I can remember after we played Windsor, and a bunch of kids stormed the field because we won it was 4th and goal with 5 seconds to play, and we scored a touchdown and won by 1 point there right before playoffs, and a bunch of kids took the field, and there were some huge kids. I'm like, why are you not playing? Oh, I'm saving myself for basketball. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, get in shape now, and contribute.
They're definitely soft these days.
Yeah, it's just, I don't want to throw shade at the kids or anything, but as a whole, like, they're not built like we were.
I'll do it for you. They're
okay.
soft.
Yeah,
They're soft.
yeah, they are. And I can remember telling him after a couple of games, and our head coach, we are a soft bunch.
Yeah.
I remember him telling him that we don't want to hit, we don't want to tackle, we don't want to block.
Sport, you got to have that dog in you.
Yeah, and football, you got to have a pair. Like, you have to
Yeah.
have a pair to play that game, and it is a tough game, and you can't just be out there, just happy to be wearing the jersey and playing varsity. You got to want to get out there and draw blood.
This has come up a few times, us on the show. CTE,
Yeah.
which even after being educated in it wouldn't deter me from playing if I was young, or even from putting my kids in there. But it's a personal decision for everybody.
Yeah.
But now that we're all kind of like a little bit more enlightened about it, do you have any thoughts about it now?
So a lot of the research that I've done indicates that really the hits that cause that, the repetitive hits that cause that don't really start to add up until you get to college and beyond. So that's why we see all these pro players, like Aaron Hernandez, for example, who had, horror, and really you can't pick it up until they're dead. You do an autopsy on their brain. You can't diagnose someone while they're alive. You got to wait till they die and then do an autopsy and be like, oh yeah, he had CTE.
Do you think there's a correlation between lifestyle and the effect of CTE? Like say Aaron Hernandez, for example.
Yeah.
He's drinking, he's smoking, he's doing whatever on the side. Do you think that exacerbates the effects of it?
Yeah, I feel like he, I feel like it does affect your decision making, and that can contribute, to some poor lifestyle choices for sure. So just, the way that the CTE, like, it's a degenerative thing. So the longer it goes, the worse it gets. So
I'm even specifically talking about a football player doesn't drink, doesn't do anything else. He doesn't enjoy Friday and Saturday night. He lives and breathes football versus a guy who he's partying any chance he gets and stuff.
Right.
Even before the head injuries or whatever, do you think that makes it worse?
I'm not sure if that per se makes it worse. I feel like some people are more predisposed to the CTE just by the way that they're like the geometry of their skull. All of us have skulls are shaped a little bit differently. Kind of just how their brains are predisposed. I feel like some people have a higher resistance to it. But yeah, I'm not sure if that per se has a determining factor. It's more of like how your body handles that can get repeated concussive force. So
I was hoping that you would agree with me, but
I mean,
your
maybe.
answer's based way more in fact than mine is.
I mean, it could be.
It's a good question.
I mean, it could
because
very well be.
That stuff obviously affects your brain.
I'm always just trying
so
to
if
find
you mix the two,
Yeah.
maybe it makes a CTE.
I'm always
way
just
worse.
trying to find a way not to be a bitch.
Yeah.
Like my kids, everybody. I'm like, just stop.
Yeah,
being
you're
soft.
convincing them football's not bad as long as you don't get hammered all the time.
Yeah,
which is like the best path you can put them on. Play football,
Right.
don't do drugs.
I mean, really, having a healthier lifestyle is going to contribute to you having a longer career and being healthier longer. Because I mean, there's nothing really good about living that way from a durability standpoint. So your body's going to have a higher rate of inflammation from all that kind of stuff. So, but if you're healthier and your body's able to recover better after each incident, then yeah, I would say you're probably going to be a little bit more resistant to it if you think about it that way. So,
in different athletic fields, there we we have like Mount Rushmores of greatness.
Yep.
Tom Brady.
Yep.
In his field, Royce Gracie, Arnold Schwarzenegger, all completely different fields.
Yep.
Is there like a Mount Rushmore of personal trainers?
Yeah, I would say I wouldn't say personal trainers. I would say strength coaches.
Okay.
So in the UFC, Phil Daru, who's a really good. I mean, that's a guy that I love watching. He trains Dustin Poirier, and he's got some other celebrity clients that he works with that are not mixed martial artists. But yeah, that's a guy that I really look up to. Louis Simmons, who owns Westside Barbell, another one who's like that guy's a great. Like his brain works so fast, his mouth can hardly keep up.
Yeah.
And he's getting toward the end of his life and career. So anything that he puts out, you got to kind of pay attention to. That guy has done it all. But yeah, there's some definite coaches out there that are, kind of that Mount Rushmore, like you're talking about.
Hey, so hey, I'm gonna do a kind of like a rapid fire thing.
Sure.
With you and Danny.
Okay.
Okay. So I'll read off just like either one word or just like a little statement.
Okay.
And then just tell me what
First thing.
I'll either ask you just whatever you think about it.
Okay.
It can be short. It can be long. If you have a lot of thoughts on it, doesn't
Okay,
matter.
sure.
And then I'll do the same thing with
Okay.
him.
Okay.
And just so everybody knows, Matt Owen, you grew up in Afton, right?
I grew up in Oakville, actually.
Oh, Oakville.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oaktown?
One of
Yep.
one of our,
That's where I currently
South
live.
County guys. All right,
Yep.
cool. Let's see. Danny, or no, Matt. P90X. Thoughts?
Good program for people who are untrained. If
Nice.
you have no background, pretty good. You can get in pretty good shape doing P90X.
Oh, I've seen some good results.
Yeah,
from
I mean
that.
that's a good starting point, but what do you do after day 90?
Yeah.
So
Danny.
You rewind the tape is what you do after day 90. and
you just
all
started
over.
over. You just start over in day one.
Rewind the tape. You're showing your age there. These kids don't know what that means.
Oh, that's my answer because it's too intense for me.
Intermittent fasting.
Great tool for weight loss for men.
Oh,
Like not for
interesting.
women because there's too many hormones at play.
Oh, interesting.
So I've had some girls do it and it has messed them up like
Really?
bad, especially, when that time of the month comes around, it is hard on them. They can't do it. So I've had a couple of girls that do okay with it, but as a whole, they have a hard time with it, but we tolerate it really well.
Right.
Should be cycled 2 weeks off, 2 weeks on, 1 week off to keep your body from,
I should have
adapting
been
to that.
talking to you the whole time.
Yeah, there you go. Yep. Yeah.
Everybody
Well, now
reach
you've
out
got
to
all
Matt
this.
Owen. Go to Project Deliverance for all the right answers. Danny,
I'm supposed to follow.
I'll ask you first on those
I'm
ones.
supposed to follow. This guy breaks it down to an exact science, and then you're like, "Hey, Danny, what do you got to say about
Come
it?"
on, Danny, let's go. What do you got?
That's what I was thinking.
I've
too.
never seen you not have an answer
He
for
stole
anything
the
before.
words right out of
Yeah,
my
he's
mouth.
like-
I was going that way. Women don't do it.
Silent Dave, thoughts?
He's like-
All right, Danny, cold plunge.
Oh, yes. Once a year, twice a year. Why not?
Yeah.
It makes everybody laugh. You have a good time.
No.
You get-
As an effective kind of
it
tool
helps
for-
the body.
for health
It
or
helps the
whatever.
body recover, but really, really well.
Yeah, absolutely. Really good anti-inflammatory. Has a tonic effect after you cool your body down, it has to re-warm, and that burns calories. So if weight loss is your goal and you're all beat up from training, that's a great recovery tool.
Does it do something to your mind, like to put yourself in a that place of discomfort? Doesn't it have an effect on you?
Yeah, and
that way?
that's something that you almost have to learn, and you need consistent stimulus to really train it, because we say at the gym your mind is very similar to a muscle in your body. So if you go a while without doing those cold plunges and then all of a sudden you're doing it again, you're like, oh man, this is way colder than I remember, because you just haven't had that stimulus in a while. But that's another good way to train your body to endure stuff like that.
Have you seen Joe Rogan do that mixed with the hot box that he does too?
I haven't.
Oh yeah, that's where.
But that contrast, we talk about that contrast therapy and going from hot tub to cold plunge and back and forth. And what that does is that creates almost this pumping action in your body, because you get in the warm pool and everything opens up. Your blood vessels dilate, and then you get in the cold and it slams shut and it constricts. and then you go back to the warm for
Your
3
dick's
minutes.
getting smaller.
But that's exactly what's happening inside your body, and what that's doing is it's flushing toxins in and out of your muscles and forcing good blood in, and then flushing stuff out, flushing the waste
Joe Rogan
products
looks insane when he does
Yeah.
it. Like he does the cameras all up here and
Yep.
stuff. And he's all bug eyed and he looks insane.
He's always bug eyed.
He's got that swollen drunk head like Dana White.
Yes, he
kinda.
does too.
big old head.
And the vein that's popping out all the way down.
Yep.
Danny, I'm sorry.
So now I'm supposed to go before him and just look
Yeah,
stupid.
you go ahead. You go ahead,
And
man.
just look stupid with my answer. I got it. No worries. I got you.
Well, here, I'll ask Matt first,
Okay,
and
okay.
then you can just agree with him. How about that? Matt, carnivore diet. Speaking of Joe Rogan.
Yeah, I don't know a ton about it. I haven't done a whole lot of research, but yeah, that sounds like
Just only meat, right?
I know some guys
right.
that have done it and have been really successful with it.
Oh, really?
So
Firsthand, you've met people.
yeah,
who
I've had
have
a couple guys at the gym that have done carnivore for 6 months or so, and they've seen some pretty good results with it. And
I heard the first 3 weeks is pretty messy. If
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know.
because
That's what I've heard.
you're getting that change in your like nitrogen balance. I know there's that's something that needs to be regulated within your body, and just doing. I mean, that's something that I probably need to do some more research on. I don't know a whole lot about it, but I've known guys that have done it well. So
All right, Danny.
I'm going to chime in on this one because I know a lot about it.
there you go. Let's do it.
No, it just seems like a really short term gain on the investment. Like you can't do that. 6 months seems like an incredible amount of time to do a carnivore diet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Matt, jogging.
Useful for people that are untrained. I prefer to just go on like a longer hike because it's easier on my joints. I feel like people when they jog they get lazy, and then it beats up your low back and beats your ankles and your hips up. I would say okay, but I mean, if you're going to run, you need to go run, not just kind of bounce and get that force, that pounding on your hips and in your back.
You're like the Jordan Peterson of fitness. Like I thought that, I just couldn't articulate it the way that you do. All right, Danny.
I'm not
thoughts?
jogging. That
All right,
shit sucks.
Gotcha. I was going to ask about Planet Fitness. I think we already know what you're going to say about that. Vegans.
I actually, a really good friend of mine who's the drummer for Fall Out Boy is a vegan, and he's been, some people do it for moral reasons or whatever, but he's done very well with that lifestyle and his training. So, I mean, I would say if that's your choice, great. There's a way to make it work. It's tough to get enough protein. You got to get all that plant-based stuff in and beans and all that stuff, but it can be done.
Danny.
That's a hard pass, and I bet he tells everybody too.
I mean, I'm not.
Tabata versus HIT.
So define HIT though, just like circuit. There's a couple
just
different
I
definitions of it.
guess it would be like hard like timed intervals. I guess
Okay.
1 minute on, 30 off. I
So,
don't know.
I've
I don't
got
know
a-
if there's like a specific for it.
So-
yeah, I guess it would have to be defined to
So-
compare them.
Tabata, he's an actual like guy over in Japan that came up with that 20-10 structure. So 20-second sprint, 10 seconds rest, 8 rounds. Yeah, there it is on the TV. Yeah, you can run it. So 8 by 20-10. That's 2 minutes. So 20 seconds hard, like hard. 8 seconds off, 10 seconds off. 8 total blocks. Rest 2 minutes. I would say 4 sets of that. And that is a brutal thing.
What kind of client would you suggest that type of workout to?
I've had
With
people.
what kind of goal?
I've had basically anyone who's looking. So like, let's take the bike for example, the fan bike that we've got at the gym. We do stuff like this for our fighters to really achieve that deep conditioning, that lactate threshold. So you're trying to build the acidity of the blood and increasing the athlete's.
Danny was just going to say that. Actually.
Increasing the athlete's acid tolerance. So, if you're in the fight and you're throwing, you're building that acidity, you're raising your tolerance. You can keep doing that longer. So really achieving that deep conditioning. And I would say HIT, like how you were defining it, those longer intervals, that's just a different heart rate zone. So, maybe more around 75 to 85%, whereas Tabata would be like 85 to 100% max heart rate. So different zones. You're training different zones there with different goals. So
Danny,
your enthusiasm and love for what you do shows. I mean, it
Thank you, man.
It really does.
Thank you.
I recommend everyone should go to you.
Thank you.
You have far more knowledge and real world practicality actually
Thank you,
using
man.
it than anybody
Thank
I've
you.
ever met, dude. Very impressive.
Appreciate it. I mean,
That's my answer, by the way.
Thank you. Fair enough.
Hodaks chicken.
Great. Awesome.
right.
Awesome. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know who would say no, you know?
I retract my last statement that I said about Matt.
Oh, come on.
No, I'm not a fan. Not a fan.
No?
It's fish, bread, chicken.
Really?
Yes.
Oh,
Okay.
It's
well,
not bad.
You realize that I love Hodaks just because
Yeah.
I mean I grew up here and,
Sure.
and I can eat that shit, but
Yeah.
some people like to be critical of it. I
Okay.
think people are just giving it a hard time.
Okay.
All right. John Goodman's best role. What would you say?
Ooh, man. That's a tough one.
Yeah, he's got some good ones.
Oh, man. What's that one movie? The Big Lebowski?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's one of his better ones.
It
right
is.
there.
It is.
Yeah.
That's a great one.
That's
King,
really
King Ralph.
all right.
The Island Boys.
Man, so okay. A couple of my regional fighters. So Danny Moriarty comes in the gym. He's like, Matt, you got to look at you. He goes, you're gonna love these guys. And he pulls this up on his phone, and I looked at it. I was sitting there training one of my girls, and I came over and sat down on a box for a second to look at my phone, and he puts this in front of my face, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? I was like, look at these two clowns, man. I don't know, man. It's just not for me. You know.
How long do you think they'll live, Danny?
I'm an island boy. I'm an island boy.
Holly Holm and Michelle Watterson did.
Yes, I seen
one.
it. Dude, they crack me up. I laugh every time I hear it. I see it. People's reaction to it and stuff because it's like mad. So they're like, holy fuck.
Yeah.
You're the one that made me. I discovered it on the show, and then I went home and I looked at it, and it's like watching a. Man, it's so
Yeah,
awesomely
I was
bad.
like, what did I just watch? That's what I said to him. I was like, what did you just show me?
Yes, it is definitely like that. But I'm an island boy.
Cybergs.
I haven't been there in a number of years. Tell you the truth, probably 10 years. I just, we were there for a wedding years ago, and I don't know if I've ever been there since. I like their sauce.
Yeah.
They got really good wing sauce.
The next time you're thinking about going to Hodaks, stop and go to Cyber.
Just go to Cyberg's.
Delicious.
Only in Lime on Facebook. You familiar with?
I don't know if I follow that.
Oh, okay.
So sorry, man. Sorry, man.
He's an upstanding gentleman.
Yeah, he's-
Sorry. I just don't
Pillar
have
of
an
the
opinion.
community.
Ted Drews.
Great. Yeah, awesome.
Awesome.
Classic St. Louis.
Yes, man.
You
I
know?
love Matt.
Classic St. Louis, man.
I think it's great too.
yeah, it is awesome.
I'm going to agree with our guest here.
Every time I drive by, there's a line out to Chippewa.
Yeah.
Every time.
Christmas trees. Real Christmas tree, fake Christmas tree, no Christmas tree.
Now I'm gonna go with real, but we've got and that if you ask my wife, we've got a fake one.
Yeah.
When we've had this debate before, and we've watched The Office, and Michael's like, Michael Scott's like, here's this is a fake tree that will never die, like the spirit of Christmas. He said that will live forever.
That's
Danny.
I would imagine Matt runs out there and pulls it out the roots tree all the way out. The roots
That's the only way to.
This is our tree.
Doesn't everyone do that?
Last one.
Okay.
The Camaro ZL1 versus the Shelby GT500.
Oh man, here we go. Classic.
Versus the Charger Hellcat. Right?
Classic Matt. There's a lot of videos about this on YouTube. Now, so my car that's parked out front is designed for track circuit. So
Go ahead and tell everybody what you drove.
oh, I got a 2013 Camaro ZL1 parked out front. I bought that car. That specific car, I traded for that car almost 4 years ago. So this coming December will be 4 years. And
You remember the date and everything.
I do. I remember driving it back, man.
Right. That thing looks
There's that right there on the screen. That's a 2017, or 2016 or whatever. But I can remember when that car came out back when we moved shortly after my wife and I got married, and I saw one driving down Hampton, and I was going to the gym, and at the time was still my first car, and that thing fell apart back in 2014. But I remember seeing that car and being like, man, I'm going to own one of those someday. And, I looked them up and they're $60,000. I was like, I'm going to have to really put some work in to get to the point where I can even consider buying something like this. But yeah, I got that one used with about 15K miles on it. And,
that's the perfect
never
car.
been messed with, and, been able to do a couple of things to it. And it is a beast of a car, man. That thing, that Chevy 376 with that big supercharger on it, you just can't beat it.
How do you like driving it down? Danny, thoughts on the?
I want to go see it.
Yeah, you can go. Yeah,
I'm definitely gonna ask you.
How do you like driving it down Kings Highway?
Man, it's
plates.
just it freaks me out. So I don't really drive it down Kings Highway much. I stick to Mackland.
Really?
Mackland and Sublet. I mean,
you keep it off of Kings Highway.
I don't.
That's how bad Kings Highway
I
is.
get freaked out about, especially after a cold season in March when all the it's pothole season after what the plows have been through. I'm like, man, I'm driving like this. I'm weaving, side to side.
If you ever do get caught slumming and you got to go by Walmart, are you parking all the way in the back?
Even at Schnucks, if you guys catch me at Schnucks, you'll know I'm all the way out. And I've had people park next to me out there, and it pisses me off.
They did that on purpose.
It pisses me off, man.
No, I bet, man. That's definitely you love what your toy.
See, now your wife has to kind of like be okay with that because sometimes she's riding with you, but I'm sure
sometimes,
she understands by now.
You know, she's never driven that car, not once. Because she can't drive a stick, and I don't want to teach her on it. I don't want to teach her on it.
You don't learn on that car.
No.
Right?
So we'd have to buy something like a Cobalt or something to teach her on. I'm not blowing the clutch out on that thing. So
he said she's not driving it at all.
Well, I'd be happy to let her drive it. I just don't want her smoking the clutch,
Famous people from Afton, not named Matt Owen.
Marcus Golden.
Is that the football player?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did he go to school with you? You said.
So he went to Afton, class of 11 maybe. You'd have to look it up. Marcus Golden.
Does he play for Arizona?
Arizona. He's a defense. He's an outside linebacker, D-end hybrid.
Oh, that doesn't look like he's playing for the Cardinals.
Okay, yeah, it's Marcus with a K, Golden, like the color. Yeah, there he is, number 1 there. He's a beast, man. He's
one of
a
our
beast.
own.
He's
That's
a beast.
Monster.
Yeah, there he is. Yeah, you could probably go to his Wikipedia and find out where. Yeah, Afton High School. There you go.
Nice.
Looks like you play a little DN too if you wanted to.
So I played against his older brother, Sherman, back when I played football for South, and he was a tank. His older brother was a tank. He's a big boy. He was 270 playing running back.
Oh, yeah. I would imagine he was the genetics in that family.
Smash mouth football, man.
So he was drafted by the Cardinals, then played in New York, went back to the Cardinals.
Yep. Yeah, they brought him back.
Speaking of people who went back to their old team, Cam Newton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He showed out this past Sunday.
Yeah, beat a team they weren't supposed to beat.
Beat the Cardinals.
Do you think his body's going to hold up though?
No.
He slowed down.
I don't expect him to.
He went vegan, and then his body crumbled like paper mache.
Yeah.
So for guys that play football, I don't recommend that.
Good example of that is Tony Gonzalez, who's a super fitness and health guy.
Yeah.
He wrote books on it. He'll tell you this. He'll tell the story about how he went vegan, lost way too much weight, couldn't keep doing the things he was doing. So he found this nice little like split between pescatarian and vegan.
Okay, yeah, some guys do, and I know Tom Brady. Yeah, Tom Brady is that way. I feel like guys that play in the high impact nature of football. There's something to be said about the like collagen that you take in when you eat meat and how it helps keep your tendons and ligaments and cartilage viable. And I feel like if you take that away, you're way more susceptible to getting tears and all that stuff.
Since Tom Brady was brought up, and I think there was an article that he takes like 30 pills a day.
Something like that.
Yeah. Is there a supplement or anything that you would recommend for the be all to end all?
Probably whey protein, which is not vegan because it's derived from milk. So the stuff that we have at the gym is super clean. There's a company called Gnarly Nutrition that sources all their whey from grass fed cows and stuff like that. And they're I would say if I could take one thing, it would be that, because that really gives you an edge in recovery. It helps you rebuild your muscles.
Your thoughts on creatine?
Fine, great. I take it 5 times a week. Once in the morning and once in the evening, and it does give you a little extra push when you get to those later sets. It really helps saturate those muscles with that.
What do you think about a teenager taking that? Because my son had approached me recently about it, and I don't have a whole lot of knowledge with that. I never really took supplements. So
and when we're done, I can give you the name of the brand that I use. I think it's fine. Creatine is found naturally. Your body makes it. So, and you've got 3 different energy systems. So your number one energy system, which is your creatine phosphate energy system, ATP PCR, it breaks that down. And that's like what you use when you're lifting heavy. So if you're doing like real heavy lifts from the ground or any kind of resistance training, you're going to be drawing from that first energy system. So real heavy stuff. When you take creatine, it helps saturate your body with that creatine, so it has lots of phosphocreatine to break down, if that makes sense.
Sounds like I should have been taking it a long time ago.
Yeah, there's all kinds of health benefits to that stuff. There's nothing really bad about it. We didn't know a whole lot about it back in the day, but more and more studies are finding it's actually pretty healthy.
Is steak a source or like a trigger for creatine in your body or something? I thought that ingesting steak has some kind of...
There is creatine in steak. Okay. There's creatine in...
It's like one of the only sources for it, isn't it?
And fish is high in it, too.
Oh, okay.
Fish has a lot. So tuna fish has a ton of it. So
how much upkeep on your education do you do?
Well,
it sounds like quite a bit.
So me teaching for Jim Jones, I'm always reading stuff online. I'm looking at what the other trainers are doing. A lot of these big trainers, they're posting all these videos, all these instructional videos on, hey, this is Dustin Poirier's, competition cycle, 3-week comp cycle, getting ready to fight Conor McGregor. Like before that fight, I was really paying attention. Like, what is Phil Daru doing with him to get him ready to fight? And I kind of learned I'm a real visual guy. I learned by watching, and I've got a notepad in my phone full of notes for, stuff like that to use with guys like Sean and my other fighters. In terms of formal education, haven't done a whole lot, but I do read quite a bit of books on training and theory. I've got books at the gym that have Russian on the front of them. And it's like a direct translation. So some of the words, there's a lot of Russian words that don't translate to English. So it's kind of a rough kind of deal, but that's real textbook science-y kind of thing.
So you're just consistently learning.
Oh, and I'm a firm believer that everyone that comes in the gym can teach me something. So I've got 15 years of working, since I was 18, working with clients basically. And even though some of them were my friends, they still taught me something. I still took something. They taught me. They probably helped me more than I helped them.
Well, I could teach you how to fuck a buffet up.
All right.
So, like I said, I obviously never saw anything like what I saw in your gym before I went there. But I'd been in all kinds of gyms.
Yep.
What could you tell some guy in his mid-20s who thinks he's going to club fitness and killing himself? What could you tell that guy that maybe he doesn't know? Just like areas like that he might not be aware that he should be thinking about.
So with most kids that I get in that are in their early to mid 20s, I basically tell them you need to establish some kind of training goal, and there needs to be short-term goals, like something, maybe personal best, I'm trying to hit this number on the bar, maybe long-term or, mid-range. I'm going to try and compete and do something with this. Cause if you're just coming in to lift, once you hit those numbers and you attain those PRs, you're going to take your foot off the gas. So you need to make those short-term goals a stepping stone to something better, and then maybe even longer than that, you got something else down the road. So, and that's the biggest thing with kids these days is I'm like, well, what do you want to do? Well, I don't know.
Are there
find something.
I feel like a lot of your just average guy who goes to club fitness, there's a lot of just like inline kind of like barbell type stuff involved. Not a lot of flexibility.
Right.
there's a lot of areas like not everybody's doing pull-ups or working their lats at all.
Right.
You know.
Right.
Any thoughts on like neglected maybe styles of working out that aren't necessarily lifting that maybe average people should look into a little more?
And this is a good segue into kind of the style that I use for some of my lifters. We spend 20% on the time working on main lifts, so variations of squat, bench, and deadlift, and we have different ways to achieve that. And we spend 20% of the time on main lifts, 80% of the time on accessories. So like all the little, training the like front raise, the lateral raise, the hamstrings, the glutes, the reverse hyper, pushing sleds, pulling sleds, jumping.
Yeah, when you said different variations of main lifts, one example would be doing push-ups on the band.
Yep. So
okay.
that falls into the accessory category. So variations of main lifts. So you've got flat bench, right? Like you're talking about, straight up, straight bar. You've got cambered bench, so like on a like buffalo bar or a like bow bar that changes your grip. We got neutral grip bench, with the like football bar that's got the, those straight deals that come down. It changes it about 90 degrees. Close grip bench, wide grip bench, incline bench, decline bench.
Do you think that that lacking in variation is how all these, like in professional sports, you see a lot of like ligament tears that I don't remember seeing a whole lot of, so 30 years ago.
Lack of variation and lack of accessory work.
Yeah.
And you get these non-contact ACL tears, like Cooper Kupp a few years back for the Rams. Came out of a break on a route and blew his ACL out. That had that little twist, wasn't getting enough hamstring work. We got that inverse curl. I think you've done the inverse curl over there. That's a heck of a great hamstring thing. Had he been using something like that or doing more RDLs or doing just more wide stance good mornings, maybe he would have been okay. So that's one way to achieve that. A lot of these guys are really hamstring weak and they're really strong on the front of their body, the anterior where their like quads are, but they just don't have the back end, and they'd be faster too if they would train it.
Silent Dave, did you have any questions for your regimen for Matt Owen?
No, I don't have a fitness regimen.
We're shocked to hear that.
Well, I want to. Did you have anything else?
No, I'm gonna get with him at some point in time.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I'm highly impressed with you.
Thank you, man.
Your
Thank you.
knowledge and enthusiasm for what you do is
Thank you.
Very admirable.
Yeah. Obviously he knows what he's talking about. He uses a lot of words that. There was one.
There was quite a few of them.
Matt, I really appreciate you being here.
Of course, man. Of course, and hopefully we can do this again soon.
Yeah,
we can talk about some more stuff.
You guys want to go check out his car?
Oh, I definitely want to go.
Yeah,
check
we can go.
out
Yeah, absolutely.
Appreciate you coming on and educating all of us.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Great to meet you guys. All right, man. Take care.
Oh yeah, I'm in here, Bob. My bad. Hey, sorry for the wait, my nigga. Weezy style. Yeah.
I'll ask you first on those ones.
This guy breaks it down to an exact science, and then you're like, "Hey, Danny, what do you got to say about it?"
Come on, Danny, let's go. What do you got?
That's what I was thinking.
I've
too.
never seen you not have an answer
He
for anything
stole the
before.
words right out of my
he's
mouth.
like-
I was going that way.
Say goodbye to the old guy. Back cause I'm too fly to ever fall off. King of my city, still running with the gritty. Looking for the crown, tell them bitches come get it. R.I.P. Bird, still repping to the finish. Slick nigga, gifted. Hate me, but I'm still fly. God be my witness. I'm just so fresh. Ladies love me to death. Mommy, take those clothes off. I wanna see you up in this dress. Blessed by the Most High. Mountaintop, no downslide. You ride, I ride. Together we fly. Most these niggas living, but they living the lie. Take the deep end, gon' peep in. Taking over season, see they need some shine. I'ma gon' shine, leave these niggas blind. Word to the prayer hands tatted on my kids' moms. Firstborn, I'm proud of you, dude. If I was you, I'd be mad at me too. But life goes on when it's a spiritual move. Gotta rely on your vision. I'm in it, won't leave until they know the real me. All love, no hate. Let niggas eat off my plate. Now they wanna.